My name is Jenny Davis, and I am the writer and co-producer of Looking for Obama, and I'm here on the set of the stage set of the play here at the Old Vic studio. It's really about whether the achievement and success of someone like Barack Obama can actually happen here, and whether it can actually happen in our own individual lives. And it's not really about those changes and steps happening on that kind of mammoth scale that we have to be, the next president of America or the Prime Minister, but it's really whether we can actually find our own sort of bigness or make those kind of changes that are necessary in our own lives so we can find our own, make our own success. It's been a project which has kind of grown, and it grew out of a certain passion, and I was just really excited during the electoral campaign. And when it looked like the prospect that Obama might become president, it seemed like something totally outside of our wildest dreams, especially as black people. And I think for me that was the crux of it. Was what did this mean for us, that we have the first black American president of the United States, a black man? What does it mean for us also as black people? So that had been my starting point, and also the fact that each and every one of us, certainly as black people, have some emotional investment in that. And I wanted to kind of unravel that some more and just look at 4 different people represented a cross-section of the black community, and really think about what aspiration meant or means in each of those persons' lives. It was really about trying to find and keep voices that were particularly authentic to a very particular experience, and certain voices that, didn't usually have access to a space like this, and voices that are kind of well known in their own community, but actually don't always find their way, through these walls. And I think one of the things that I did feel very passionate about was, even if it wasn't just my own play, I really wanted to see BOV opening its doors again to having much more, black voices filtering through. And I thought, if this was one way of doing that, was to kind of bring a project in which actually brought 4 writers in, and who could then experiment and discover something new. It probably will have a life, actually, because what's been interesting so far is the feedback I've had from a lot of young people who particularly identify with the young character's monologue. So I think it's probably going to be one of those projects where it will have its own life, and I would like to see it kind of moving on to spaces where it's like prisons, for instance, or somewhere else where I think it can actually engage with people who don't get a chance to come to the theatre, because the stories still have resonance for their lives, but they don't necessarily get to the theatre. So I think if it has a life with a sort of outside of this, with a sort of non-theatre going audience, then yeah, that would be great.